Hello there and welcome everybody. This is a very short video to explain on experiment 5, some of the theories and concepts behind it, and also what I expect from you. So if you're ready, let us get started with this video. So let me just shrink down my head and we will have a look at this. So this is what your Google Classroom should look like now. Kita pinjam Google Classroom untuk K05, okay? So under the practical materials tab, you should be able to see all these materials that I've got laid out. And we will be focusing in this video on experiment 5 inheritance. So here we have one list of material where you can find the lab manual, two instruction videos. Video pertama ni untuk 5.1, video kedua untuk 5.2, and we also have the questions for pre-lab and the answers for pre-lab. So pre-lab ini saya bagi kebebasan kepada kamu mau buat sekarang, kamu mau buat nanti, kamu mau buat langsung ataupun tidak, and then boleh cuba tanda sendiri. Tidak perlu hantar pre-lab questions. Completely up to you. And then we also have the survey and data. So here I give you the instructions. Okay, macam mana mau isi ini survey. Okay, nanti kita tengok survey itu juga. And last but not least, we have this slot for you to submit your lab report. Okay, kita akan fokus kepada lab manual dulu. Let's look at the lab manual. So this is your manual for experiment 5 inheritance. I hope you have gone through the manual. Mari kita tengok sajalah in case ada yang kurang faham. Dua learning objective ataupun aim of the experiment ada di sini. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to determine the inheritance of genetic traits controlled by single genes in humans, and you should be able to determine the inheritance of ABO blood groups. Bila kita cakap determine inheritance, kita sedang tengok dia ada dominant dengan recessive allele, nombor 1. Dan kedua, kita tengok apa expected genotype and phenotype frequency. Kalau itu adalah dia punya dominant allele, kita expect berapa persen daripada populasi kita akan menunjukkan phenotype itu. And we also, third of all, we will look at the observed phenotype and genotype frequency. Expected means kita jangka frekuensi dia begini. Tapi sebenarnya bila kita analisa populasi kita, apa frekuensi sebenarnya? So we will look at that when we analyze your data. Now I'm moving on to the introduction. So the introduction, number of human characteristics are determined by single genes. These characteristics include the shape of nose, earlobe, ability of tongue rolling, the presence of dimple, and left-handedness. Single gene also determines pigmentation of iris and the ability to taste phenylthiocarbamide. Okay, sini saya mau fokus kepada contoh di sini. Dalam eksperimen ni kita tidak akan determine inheritance of these two, but I want to explain a little bit. Pigmentation of iris adalah warna mata kamu. Iris is the colored part. The pupil is the hitam part, the hole in your eye. And ability to taste phenylthiocarbamide. Ada sesetengah soalan pasir yang akan gunakan contoh ini, the ability to taste phenylthiocarbamide ataupun PTC. So let me talk about this because if you want to go into bio more in the future, you will see this again. So PTC tasting is controlled by a single gene. Dia ada dia punya dominant dan dia punya recessive allele. Asalkan kamu ada dominant allele, kamu mampu rasa compound yang bernama PTC dalam makanan. Kalau kamu tiada dominant allele dia, if you have the genotype small t, homozygous recessive, you will be non-taster. That means kamu jilat benda yang ada PTC itu berapa banyak kali pun, kamu tidak akan rasa PTC. For people who have the dominant allele, you are tasters, and if you taste it, it will taste bitter. Non-tasters, if you taste PTC, you don't taste anything at all. So if you want, you can research more about PTC, but if you don't want to research it now, macam tidak berapa kisah, then that's fine. I just wanted to explain that this is that phenotype. Okay. Kita kembali kepada kita punya lab manual. Kalau ada soalan pasal PTC, boleh tanya nanti. Alright, the apparatus and materials, we are not using any of this. We are using Google Sheets. Jadi nanti kamu buat lab report, sila tulis Google Sheets sahaja. Alright, so these are the procedures and observation. Step pertama, class need to appoint class representative to build a survey. Ini tidak perlu sebab saya sudah buat survey itu, tinggal kamu isi. And then number 2, you need to look at these characteristics. And then number 3, based on the above characteristics, you need to fill your information in the table, determine your genotype, and calculate the observed and expected frequencies for each of the 6 characteristics. Mari kita tengok satu-satu characteristics. The first characteristic you need to look at is the shape of your nose. So kalau pakai spek, sila buka spek. You need to look at whether you have curved nose or straight nose. Ini bukan tengok kita punya hidung mancung macam orang putih ataupun kemek macam orang Asia. Yang kita tengok adalah turn your head 90 degrees. Look to your right or your left. Tengok bentuk hidung kamu. Kalau macam saya, ini adalah straight nose. Sebab tiada tempat yang melengkung. If you are someone with curved nose, di sini dia macam ada bonggol, macam tulang, your nose bridge will pop out. It will be curved at some point. If you are not sure, send your selfie to the group. I will tell you whether you are curved nose or straight nose. Okay. Second trait that we need to look at is your earlobe. So for this one, you need to look at your ears. Okay. Kalau macam saya, ini adalah detached. Bahagian ini dia tidak bersambung dengan isi kamu di muka. If you're attached, then you are the recessive phenotype. Tongue rolling. Can you make your tongue into a U or a W shape? If yes, then you have the ability to roll tongue. If you don't, you have the inability to roll tongue. Dimple. So you see here, I have dimples on my face. Dimple bukan sahaja di pipi, ada juga dimple di sini, dimple di, some people smile and then di sini nampak macam ada termasuk sedikit begitu. Those are also considered dimples. So as long as you have dimple anywhere on your face, you have the dominant phenotype. Okay. Alah, terbalik pula gambar dia. Satu with dimple, satu without. Okay. If you are left-handed, that means you have the dominant allele. If you are right-handed, that means you have the recessive allele, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, sorry. If you're right-handed, you have the dominant allele. If you're left-handed, you have the recessive allele. And last but not least is the hitchhiker thumb. So look at my thumb. No matter how much I bend, it cannot be more than 60 degrees. So mine is a normal thumb. Some people, they will have the hitchhiker thumb. Siapa yang mau show off dia punya hitchhiker thumb, boleh send gambar dalam group. No problem. Okay. Once you have all of that, you need to go to the survey. So this is the survey. This is what the sheet looks like. Akan ada sheet untuk K04, K05, dan K06. Saya akan guna contoh untuk K05. So, when you get to the sheet, find your class, don't disturb the other classes, and find your name. Contoh macam di sini, okay, a few people have already filled in their phenotypes and a few people haven't. I'm going to try and put my name here just as an example. Okay, I have a straight nose, so I'm going to put 1 here, 0 here. I'm able to roll my tongue into, so I put 1, 0. I'm right-handed, thumb instead of hitchhiker thumb, 1 and 0. Okay, that is it for 5.1. Alright. Itu sudah untuk 5.1. Lepas tu untuk lab report, kamu perlu salin table 5.1 ini. Dan tick lah. Tick. Ini nanti kita akan kilak dan letakkan value. And then here are questions for 5.1. Okay. For 5.2 ni explain pasal allele. controlling blood. When you do your introduction for your lab report, you can add this to the introduction as well. Tapi tidak payahlah semua kamu boleh ringkaskan. Okay. So if we are doing this in the lab, you will be able to test your own blood type. Kita akan ada NTA dengan NTB serum. Dan satu lagi keyword yang kamu akan belajar adalah agglutinate. Kalau kita letak darah A ke atas slide dan kita letak NTA serum ke atas darah itu akan tergumpal. Dia akan agglutinate. Agglutinate means something is attacking your red blood cells and it's making it clump together. Menyebabkan dia tergumpal sama-sama, dia tidak larut dalam plasma. So, dia akan nampak agglutination tu. I'm not sure if we'll have the opportunity to repeat this experiment. I don't think we will. So, if you already know your blood group, you're just going to put in the data. If you don't know your blood group, leave it blank. Okay. Yep. So if you have blood group A, you will have antigen A on your red blood cell. Blood group A, if it comes into contact with NTB antibodies, your blood will agglutinate. Table ini cerita kalau darah A, dia terjumpa dengan antibody NTB, dia akan tergumpal. Kalau sel darah B, terjumpa NTA, dia tergumpal. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I think this is something that you've covered during your SPM years as well. But if you're still unclear, feel free to ask again. Okay. The apparatus and materials used is also Google Sheet. Alright. Your blood group, ini kamu tidak payah salin lah ni kotak. Ni kotak sepatutnya untuk kamu tulis kamu punya blood group apa. Dan kamu cuma perlu salin table 5.3. Okay, so we'll go back to this Google Sheet, yeah? So for this Google Sheet, I go back to my name. I look at the blood group. I know I am blood group A.
Hello there. Sorry, I didn't realize that the previous part of this recording was a bit stuck because I was pausing and unpausing the video. But anyway, let's continue. Okay, kalau kamu sudah isi ini, if you've already filled in the survey, at the end of the survey, you should be able to get the number of individuals with each of those phenotypes, but you don't really need to copy this. You only need to copy the frequency of the phenotypes. So, setiap cell ini, you already have the formula equals how many over how many people, and that is your observed frequency of that phenotype. Okay, so let me just add here, this is the observed frequency. All right, and that brings us to the lab report. So, macam mana kamu mau buat lab report? I have the guidelines for the lab report posted in the Google Classroom. If you don't know where it is in the Google Classroom, it's here under Experiment 5, Lab Report Submission Slot. Okay, you can choose whether you want to do the title page or not. If you want to do the title page, it should have the title of the experiment, your name, my name as your lecturer, and also the date of submission bila kamu hantar. Okay, selepas title cover page, baru kamu tulis lagi title, objective or aim of experiment, and the introduction. Introduction boleh salin sahaja daripada 5.1 dan 5.2. Ataupun kamu boleh buat ringkasan. Okay, you can paraphrase it to make it shorter without losing the meaning. And you can also write the apparatus and materials. In this experiment, we only use Google Sheets as our apparatus. No need to write the procedures. You need to write the observation. Observation, cumalah kamu salin balik table 5.1 and 5.3. No, not this one, 5.3. So, salin balik dua table ini. Jangan lupa untuk label table dia. Tick your own genotype. Write down the observed frequency of each genotype and the expected frequency. Now, I'm not sure if this was captured in the recording before, but I'll say it again. Expected frequency will be 0.75 for the dominant phenotype, like straight nose, and 0.25 for the recessive phenotype, like curved nose. So, untuk column ini, masa kamu buat lab report, memang dia sama ada 0.75 ataupun 0.25 sahaja. For the observed frequency of each genotype in class, that one you can get from your own class sheet. Remember, you're using only your class's data and not other students' data. Okay, and after you do the observation, no need to do discussion for this experiment. Experiment lain, saya minta kamu buat discussion lah. Untuk ini tidak perlu. And also write the conclusion. So the conclusion, you can just copy the sentence I have here. Here, I write it in point form. But when you do your lab report, please write it in paragraph. So di sini saya tulis dalam bentuk point. Untuk kamu punya lab report, tulis dalam bentuk perenggan. Okay. For the references, just copy what I have into your lab report. If you want to do your own references, you can. But please still use APA citation format. Okay, cara kita tulis references ni dia ada format ya. Jadi kalau kamu mau ambil tahu lebih banyak, kamu boleh Google apa itu APA citation format 6th ataupun 7th edition. And last but not least, answer the questions for 5.1 and 5.2. If you look at the lab manual di penghujung dia ada questions. Untuk 5.1 ada 4 soalan, untuk 5.2 ada 2 soalan. Okay, saya tidak sertakan answer scheme, nanti saya akan tanda lepas kamu submit di DGC. So yeah, so you can view the assignment and the instructions for the lab report and how to submit is already here. I also included the rubric. Jadi kalau kamu mau tahu macam mana saya mau tanda nanti, untuk contoh ini saja saya ada letak rubric di sini sebagai panduan. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I hope this is somewhat helpful for you and I wish you all the best. I hope that you can complete the survey by tomorrow. Okay, memandangkan slot untuk eksperimen kita adalah Kamis. Saya harap Kamis ini juga kamu dapat siapkan survey Google Sheet ini. Supaya siapa yang mau buat lab report boleh buat terus. Alright, so K05 is doing really well and I look forward to reading your lab report soon. Thank you very much and goodbye everyone.